Okay, we're not quite done yet because there's one more thing I would like you to do. You've watched all the lessons. Hopefully, you've been spending a lot of time studying and practicing in between lessons. I hope you've learned a lot in that process during your own study time. But now it's time where I'd like you to actually execute a piece of writing, a piece of, an artistic work using your cursive handwriting. Okay? And I've done something here just as an example. Something very basic. I got a blank piece of paper. I picked a quote that I like from the movie The Legend of Bagger Vance. It's a movie about golf and life and all that stuff. And it's a short quote, and I just decided, like, all right, I'm going to take a blank piece of paper and I'm going to, use a ruler to put grid lines down on the page. I'm going to put my slant lines in with a protractor. So I used a protractor to create this first slant line over here. And then I used a ruler to add in the other ones going across the page. And the whole idea here is just to create something that looks as nice as you possibly can. And I think, a blank piece of paper with pencil lines on top looks really great because now I've left them in so you can see what I've done here, but now I can go in and I can erase these lines. And it'll look really nice and it'll really pop when those pencil lines are gone. But if you don't have a blank piece of paper, you can, of course, just use a lined sheet of paper and just try to be as neat and nice on this page as on this layout as you can. Use this margin line on the left, maybe add a line on the right with a ruler so that you have a nice space to write within and keep everything really neat and organized. Writing, if decide if you're going to fit the words on a single line or if you're going to use maybe two of these lines for your words. For your line space, and decide what quote you want to do. I mean, it doesn't have to be a quote. It can be a lyric from a song. It could be a Bible verse. It could be something original that you wrote. It could be a poem. It could be a joke. Whatever you want it to be, decide on something you want to write, something you want to express in cursive writing, and then go ahead and execute it. And when you execute it, spend some time planning about how you want the words to look on the page and where they're going to be positioned. Before I did this final version, I had a rough draft version where I really did some work with a pencil, just figuring out how these words, how much space these words are going to take up, horizontally on each line and how many lines they're going to take. So I already knew, all right, this is going to be 4 lines. And then I knew what my X height was going to be, and I knew that I could center this vertical space on this entire sheet of paper. Okay, and I'd already picked how wide I wanted the work to be, so I could center the width of this space on the paper as well, using my ruler. So it's just that forethought that allows you to execute a layout like this. And I'm not going to go into the specifics of that, so you're kind of on your own, but be creative, think about how you can do it. If it's too much of a challenge, don't worry about it. Like I said, you can just use your lined sheet of paper or graph paper or whatever you have on hand. Don't go crazy trying to find the right piece of paper. The important thing to do is that you pick something you want to express and you thoughtfully plan it out on the page and then you execute it. Don't be afraid to do this more than once. I'm happy with this result here, but if I was going to do this again, I might add a little drawing in somewhere, right down here on the right and have the words wrap around that drawing. I could have a little golfer or a golf ball down here on the right, because the movie's about golf. There's all kinds of things. I could add color to this. I could add a border. I could definitely, that's something I could still do with this version, is I could add a border around this in pen, a nice square border that frames everything. There's just a lot of different possibilities. And I want you to have fun with it, and I just want you to produce something because you spend a lot of time studying, and it's time to put that to good use. And if you do follow through on this, which I hope you do, please reach out to me. Please post a picture of your work. Post it on Instagram and mention me at Perfect Biscuits. I'd love to see your work out there on social media. If you're on Reddit, you can post it to the handwriting community on Reddit and mention me. I'm P Biscuits on Reddit. I would love to see your work there. Or if you just want to send it to me personally, just go to consistentcursive.com, hit the contact button in the menu, and you can email this to me as well. if you take that image, or you can mail it to me. If you go on my website, on the contact page, there's a link to get my address, and you can mail it to me as well. So yeah, have fun, give it a try, and don't be afraid to do it more than once, and you'll have something. When you're done with this, you'll have something that you really created from what you learned here in consistent cursive.